Morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on AI-powered property management with a particular focus on Christmas and out of hours. My name's Lewis. I head up the marketplace here at Fixflo. Feels very early to be discussing Christmas, I think, despite it being mid-November, but obviously we've got lots of clients approaching us asking about the Christmas period, how we can help support them from an out of hours perspective, particularly with emergency repairs that come in and that are reported by tenants through our platform. So yeah, going to be discussing that today. So we give people a chance to get set up and ready for Christmas, really. Just to introduce our speakers. Again, yeah, I'm Lewis. I've been at Fixflo for about 7 years, worked in a variety of different departments from sales to partnerships, most recently heading up the marketplace function here at Fixflo. We've got AIDEN here. AIDEN, over to you.
Hi, my name's AIDEN. Pardon me for my voice. I'm the founder of Help Me Fix, which is an AI diagnostic and video triage platform.
Great. And the eagle-eyed among you will notice that we've got Dean here, not Aaron. So Aaron, who's the founder of Novex, is unfortunately unable to attend today due to an urgent family issue. So we've got one better. We've got our very own Dean Falvey. So Dean, over to you.
Firstly, apologies. I'm not anywhere near as attractive as Aaron, but I will do my best. I'm Dean. I've been with Fixflo for about 2.5 years. I'm the network manager for the Contractor Marketplace. That means I'm responsible for identifying suitable contractors to work on the marketplace, the ongoing management of those contractors from both performance and commercial perspective. So very much on kind of working with Aaron at Novex to mobilise tradespeople for emergency repairs.
Great, thank you. So just a standard disclaimer, opinions and thoughts expressed on the webinar are our own, as in the participants, mine, AIDEN's and Dean's, rather than Fixflo as a business necessarily. We also having a Q&A at the end. So there's a Q&A button down the bottom. Please submit questions throughout. As I say, you can submit questions throughout. So any question that you have, anything that we do say that you think, oh, I'd like to ask or touch a bit more on that, please do just fire some questions away. We'll come to them all at the end, but yeah, it'd be great to get some questions in as we're going, just to make sure that we're prepped and got some stuff to answer for you at the end. As a reminder, the webinar is being recorded and we will share it at the end. In terms of an agenda today, we're just going to discuss a little bit about what Christmas periods do look like. So that's without necessarily having Fixflo in place or Help Me Fix or Novex as participants in the marketplace. We're then going to touch into the specifics of those things. So discussing AIDEN's AI-powered solution that we've got, discussing Novex solution, which obviously Dean will be covering, and then just basically any kind of quick touch points on getting started on this so that you can be ready for Christmas and enjoy yourself. So I think just to start, we wanted to just ask people to think about a little bit what Christmas periods tend to look like for your agencies. Obviously, we've been having an out-of-hours solution for the Contractor Marketplace for a number of years now, but we've spoken to dozens and dozens of clients about their out-of-hours process prior to that, and it was typically having property managers taking a mobile phone home, for example, or giving tenants direct details for contractors to ring in an emergency. It wasn't ideal for a lot of our clients, which is why they've kind of moved on to the marketplace, moved on to our out-of-hours solution. AIDEN, I don't know if you have any examples in place of kind of clients that you've had who, prior to using a solution, what they used to do, any kind of issues that they had around that?
Yeah, one of our first clients, Haslam's, the head of property management used to take a phone home for Christmas and deal with the issues themselves. Now, obviously, with that, they're a large agency with a large number of residents. It puts a huge pressure on property management, and it's usually the head of property management that ends up with that responsibility. Ironically, they switched over to our solution in 2021 and immediately saved £7,500 in call charges for their landlords over that period, where issues were triaged by a professional, and the emergency dispatch was averted. Which it is in approximately 93 cases and 93% of cases when it passes through our technology prior to a dispatch. So lots of examples about Christmas, and essentially the feedback we got after after the Christmas period was it was the most peaceful Christmas that they had ever had as an agency, which is always music to my ears. It was not the most peaceful Christmas we'd ever had. We've never had a peaceful Christmas since, but that's what we're here for.
Great. And Dean, I know we discussed this at length in kind of in years of experience, kind of managing networks, managing contractors. How have you found Christmas?
Certainly on the contractor side is that what I've seen is that in the build up you do all the right things in the absence of the technology that AIDEN's able to provide. You know, you're going around speaking to your tradespeople, your contractors, understanding what their coverage is over the kind of festive period. Invariably they'll always say, yeah, I'm working, I'm available on Christmas Day, I'm available on Boxing Day. But when push comes to shove, and when that attendance is needed over that period, the reality is that more often than not, we found that those attendances weren't happening. You would call your tradesperson, who does an absolutely fantastic job for you throughout the year, no doubt, but we're all human. And you'll call them, and they might be at a pub or a family function. They're not getting in the van. They can't get in the van and go do a job. That has been certainly a common theme that I've found over the years. And I think, you know, this combination of Help Me Fix and then Novex on the other side, you know, that removes all of those issues. But certainly that's a theme as I found it. I'm sure that agents have kind of experienced similar situations in the past themselves.
Great. Thanks. So I guess that's where we come in, really. So, Etan, this next bit's over to you just to discuss your business and your solution.
Absolutely. So anyone that's familiar with Help Me Fix will usually associate us with video. It's where we originally came from. However, over the past 15 months, we've been building and have released AIDEN, which is an AI diagnostic repairs assistant. It's trained on our database of triage issues. So we've had around 50,000 successfully triaged issues, which we trained AIDEN on. But more than that, it's armed with a number of skills that can allow residents to self-solve issues during a repair. So at the core, its function is to help resolve issues and to accurately diagnose them, but it can also analyze photos, serve up helpful videos. It's got instant knowledge about the property, the build, whether it's a house or a flat, whether it's insulated, the EPC rating, whether it's ventilated. It's got access to the weather information. So if your resident is reporting no heating on Christmas Day and it's -3, AIDEN will know that when it goes to triage the issue. So we'll automatically look for issues like frozen condense pipes or anything related to the weather. We've just released the ability to find spare parts. So when AIDEN files a job report, just like a video engineer would do, it can recommend parts from national distributors that can be fitted to resolve the issue. It can escalate up to video triage, which we'll only do in an urgent or emergency circumstance. And it can also trigger an emergency dispatch in Fixflo. So basically what happens is that when a qualifying issue is reported, AIDEN will triage that with the resident and try to find a resolve. If it can't find a resolve, it will try and temporarily get them out of trouble. It then has the option to file a job report, or if it's an emergency or urgent issue, it can then escalate up to second stage video with a qualified contractor, to be able to basically move that to the next stage. On top of that, AIDEN's got access to information about your agency, so you can train it with information about your agency, your repairs policy, anything like that you want AIDEN to relay to the resident. And in that way, it truly becomes a kind of personalized experience for that resident. AIDEN can permanently resolve around 7% of issues. Now, if you're thinking of the types of issues AIDEN's good at resolving, it's brilliant, obviously, at pressure top-ups. It's brilliant at frozen condense pipes, anything like tripped consumer units, chirping alarms where batteries need to be replaced, anything that would usually end up in a contractor dispatch or might have even gone to video previously, AIDEN can resolve itself. And in addition to that, AIDEN can diagnose about 70% of issues and recommend the right parts for a physical attendance. It's powered by various different AI models. I'm happy to answer questions about that as we move along this webinar. And essentially is getting better every day. It learns from previous fixes, so if it's able to resolve something, it will then learn from that and be able to kind of repeat that same pattern on the next one, which means that over time, AIDEN is becoming more and more effective, and those percentages will be rising gradually.
Great, thanks. So we were going to talk a little bit about how it works and the journey for your tenants. Etan, I'm happy to take this if your throat's a bit sore, or would you rather?
Yeah, it's probably better, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if you mentioned, but AIDEN's fully integrated into Fixflo. So from your customer, your tenant's journey, it's pretty seamless. So what we encourage tenants to do in exactly the same way that you do at the moment is report that repair through Fixflo. So whether it's in hours, not very urgent issue, or whether it's an out of hours emergency, Fixflo is there for your tenants to be able to use it. So direct your tenants to use Fixflo over the Christmas period, have it on your phone trees, etc. Get them using Fixflo. What Fixflo will do is recognize which issues can be triaged and resolved by AIDEN, essentially. So you put in a list of all of the faults that AIDEN can cover. Fixflo will automatically instruct that issue to AIDEN, and it will do it in Fixflo. So your tenants reported a maintenance issue, typically on their mobile phone. There'll be a little loading screen for about 10 seconds, and there'll be a big button for them to click saying, click here to be linked to our chatbot to help you resolve this issue. So that's what they'll do. They'll click that, connects them in seconds typically, and then they're able to then speak to the chatbot in order to basically get this issue resolved. As Etan mentioned, it can then escalate to video if necessary. So you've got the chatbot trying to resolve the repair. Sometimes, and we'll show you some examples later, it's going, have you done this? Have you done that? Here's a video of doing that, really doing everything it can, reading into this database to absolutely recommend the best thing for tenants. Obviously, it's not always going to be able to resolve the issue, and sometimes it may need someone, I was going to say physically, it's completely virtual, to be on the phone with the tenant to kind of talk them through it. I mean, my dishwasher's broken at the moment. I'd love to have hit up Etan and connected to one of the video engineers to unblock my dishwasher, but it can escalate to a video in the same screen. Tenants escalate to a video call. They're connected within 37 seconds, I think is the average, to a video engineer.
Yeah, so how this works is that if AIDEN escalates the video, it will choose the right category to escalate that tenant in. So it will essentially define the category of the issue, and then it will start looking for qualified trades that match that category. Now, we have a network of 50 engineers that are all qualified, and basically their main job is to triage issues over video. So AIDEN will start polling our engineers, adding more and more engineers into the pool as time passes, so one every 6 seconds. Within usually 20 to 30 seconds, that call will be accepted by an engineer, and then they will then be passed the job report by AIDEN so that they can understand what's been done so far, what's been tried, what hasn't. The engineer will then continue to triage the issue and attempt to resolve it with the resident. And essentially at this point, the resolution rate goes from 7% up by 15%. Because obviously that's the second stage triage, and the engineer can get an eye on it. The engineer can then obviously dispatch if required, or can downgrade that issue and file a job report, which then goes back into Fixflo next to the AIDEN report, so you can see each step of the process and how the issue was progressed from initial reporting, diagnostics by AIDEN, video triage by the engineer. And then obviously if a physical visit is absolutely required, it then gets escalated at that point.
Great. So I think in summary, from our property manager client's perspective, tenant reports maintenance issues in exactly the same way as they do. The outcome of it is that fewer issues are going to be raised in Fixflo as a result, because they're getting triaged, they're getting resolved by AIDEN and by the video maintenance. So you're essentially just having fewer issues land in your Fixflo system, despite the number that are being reported by tenants. Obviously, it goes without saying that's very useful during kind of out of office periods where your staff aren't there, there's fewer issues to deal with, etc., etc. Great. So I think we can share the screenshot, but yeah, this summarizes it really well. Tenant reports through Fixflo, connected to the chatbot. If needed, they escalate to video. Call report is filed and then raised back into Fixflo. So you can just jump into Fixflo. Here's an issue with all the details on it, and I can action that accordingly. Great. So I think, Dean, this next bit's over to you really to discuss, God forbid, the issue's been through AIDEN, it's been through video potentially as well. Unfortunately, it's out of hours and emergency call-outs required, physical dispatch is required. So what happens next?
Absolutely. So what happens next is Novex's life is made incredibly much easier thanks to all the work that's been done through AIDEN, and if necessary for a video triage. All the information, the key information that Etan's talked about is passed on to Novex as part of that emergency job instruction. And then it kind of goes into the SLAs that, if there's any existing Novex users for out of hours, will be very familiar with. So the first contact has already essentially happened through AIDEN and through Help Me Fix video triage. That said, there'll be a kind of, within the next 30 minutes, the tenant will be contacted to confirm an appointment for emergency dispatch. So the first SLA is 4 hours. So the contractor must be on site within 4 hours. They prior to that, a phone call will be put into the tenant to get that booked in and just to reconfirm the details. But it removes the need for, you know, the triage that would have otherwise have taken place if obviously AIDEN or Help Me Fix hadn't been involved. So it makes it much simpler. So first attendance within 4 hours, the engineer will go and resolve the issue that requires attending. And then beyond that, once the job has been attended, the time from attendance to an invoice being submitted with all the relevant information around what has taken place in that visit is within 24 hours. So the purpose of an out of hours emergency contractor going is to make safe. So the SLA for that is 100% of situations where the risk to property or life has been mitigated, and that has been resolved. And if there's any comms from the agent or the tenant, any messages sent via the comments is subject to an SLA of 4 hours. So again, similar SLAs to what many will be familiar with, any users in the past. This becomes so much more streamlined with obviously the introduction of AIDEN and Help Me Fix. I think as a kind of combination, I'm sitting there as AIDEN's as Etan was talking through Help Me Fix there. I think this combined is the perfect combination of tech, AI, and the common sense element of sometimes a human needs to be involved. And I think this put together like this, it's very easy to see why this can be a very streamlined process.
Indeed. So I think, yeah, just to remind everyone, the process works in a similar way with Help Me Fix and Novex, in the sense that the Fixflo system recognizes what issues need to be instructed to either. So again, your tenant's reporting through Fixflo, it's going to AIDEN or Help Me Fix. If it's flagged as an emergency by Help Me Fix, we've set up the Fixflo system to allocate any emergency that's flagged by the Help Me Fix video engineer to Novex. So essentially, they will attend every single emergency that's flagged by Help Me Fix. Etan, you got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to flag that AIDEN and video are can be chosen, so you don't have to have video on the back of AIDEN. AIDEN can handle the emergency dispatch without any kind of second stage escalation. So, or you can bolt on video, so you've got that second stage comfort, and both systems work independently and combined as well. So you can essentially choose your setup and also decide, if you are escalating to video, which issues get escalated to video. So you can limit to plumbing or electrical emergencies. You could limit it to urgent and emergency issues only, but you have complete flexibility with the setup, so that you can essentially tailor the system exactly how you want it to work.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, go on, Dean.
The handover from whether it's come from AIDEN or from the video triage, I think from Novex's perspective, whether it's gone through both or gone through one, as Etan talks about, is the information that's passed over is of a really high standard, because it's removing the need to do the triage. A full triage is needed. The call would still take place to the tenant to get it booked in and perhaps re-verify details, but obviously the tenant will not be subjected to going through the same triage process that they've had before. So yeah, as Etan says, whether it's coming from AIDEN or whether it has opted to be escalated to Help Me Fix video triage, the handover from AIDEN or Help Me Fix is very seamless from Novex's perspective.
Great. So I think we're going to just touch on the Novex process once the job's been instructed to them. So if you don't mind going to the next slide, and Dina, you could just talk a little bit about how Novex works from a kind of back office perspective with Fixflo.
Absolutely. So this is like a behind the scenes sneak peek. So contractors are using Fixflo as but in different ways to customers. So Fixflo for contractors, particularly for Novex, is all around workflows and triggering of next steps. So the first workflow that they have is new job instructions that are coming in. So in the absence of AIDEN or Help Me Fix, that would normally be a very kind of strict 30-minute SLA to perform the triage. With AIDEN and or Help Me Fix, there's no need for that triage, but the 30-minute SLA remains to get the job booked in. So the first workflow is to ensure that tenants are contacted within 30 minutes. And that would be to get the contractor booked in. So they essentially have a list of jobs, nice big bubbles. This is, if you ever get a chance to visit Novex office, sure they'd be willing to say hi. These are big dashboards all over the office, big screens, big flashing buttons to obviously prompt people to act when new job instructions come in. So yeah, first step, get a tenant contacted, get a contractor booked in. Once they've done that, they input the appointment into the job, which obviously as the customer you're able to see, but I'm sure that you've probably got better things to be doing at 2 a.m. to check that appointment was on, but you would see it the next day. So the next step is, once that job's booked in, it moves to job awaiting completion. So that means Novex have dispatched a contractor, contractors en route, and or on site to complete the job. So the next step really is the 24-hour SLA. So from when the attendance was set to moving it through to job completion, they would have 24 hours to do that. That gives the contractor a chance to compile all the kind of trade report details that they need, submit the report, go through the normal invoicing process at Novex, and submit the invoice along with the trade report to the customer. And then that would be in addition to all the information you would see with it having gone through AIDEN and or Help Me Fix, however you've decided to optimize your setup. That is pretty much it. And then obviously any quotations, if there's any kind of further works that are needed, Novex would issue a quotation to customers within the same timelines, and that's with you for review and or approval. And if it is approved, it's round robin. It essentially follows the same process with amended SLAs to complete the job within 48 to 72 hours. If they need any further parts, that is it pretty much. So yeah, use a similar way to customers in many ways, but also very different because it's customers will be familiar with workflows. Obviously, the urgency is much more increased on the contractor side, so jobs are moving much more quickly.
Great, thanks. Just a reminder for people on the call, we'll have a Q&A shortly, so we've got a few questions coming in already, but yeah, please do ask whatever you'd like. And just to kind of add on to Dean's point there around Novex using the Fixflo system, I think that's really key. I think if we think back to at the start of the webinar when we were discussing what does out of hours look like without Fixflo, without Help Me Fix, without AIDEN, without Novex, typically if it is a mobile phone being called or tenants contacting contractors directly, that stuff's happening outside of Fixflo. It's not auditable. It's really tough for you to track that. Whereas every single thing that we've discussed today has been actioned within Fixflo. So you've got here tenants reporting an issue. That's not a phone call that's been made. That's an issue that's been reported through Fixflo. That's time and date stamped. So you're logging into work, a few days later after the Christmas period, you can see exactly when that tenant reported the issue. That's then escalated to AIDEN. or to video triage, or a combination of the two via the Fixflo system. And again, there's an audit trail of that happening. If we go to the next slide, please. We've then got Fixflo deciding this is an issue that's an emergency, or this is a rule that you've set up that means I want to instruct it to Novex or to Help Me Fix or to AIDEN. Fixflo is doing that work for you. So again, there's not phone calls going on all over the place. You're not having to chase contractor A, but oh no, he's down at the pub, like Dean said, or he's on another job, so he can't attend. I've got to go to my other emergency contractor. The Fixflo system is handling all of that and making sure there's a clear audit trail. Finally, if we go to the next slide, the issue's getting resolved, and crucially, to Dean's point, it's being resolved in Fixflo. So the premise is you're a property manager, or you're a head of property management, or you're a director. Previously, you may have had to take a mobile phone home over the Christmas period. What you're now doing is you're sitting on Christmas Day, you're watching the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special, you're in, tucking into your Christmas dinner. Issues are being resolved, and with a clear audit trail throughout. So you're not having to worry, first of all, about what's going on, but crucially, when you're coming back to work a few days later, you can see everything that's happened. Not only has a tenant reported a maintenance issue, but I can see it's been resolved by Help Me Fix, or I can see, unfortunately, an emergency contractor was dispatched, but here's the invoice, here's the job report. I can then, process that and pay that invoice as well. So essentially, we're taking that off, that stress away from you. We're making sure everything's in the system and handled to give you that peace of mind over the Christmas period. Dean, Etan, I don't know if you have anything to add before we start answering some questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that by going through the AIDEN and video process, 93% of emergency dispatches are averted. So what you might walk into when you come back to work on the 4th of Jan or the 2nd of Jan, depending how lucky you are, you would usually walk into a pile of invoices and job reports that you have to explain out to your landlords. Actually, in 93% of cases, on average, those will all be averted and would have either been de-escalated for routine repair, or they would have been resolved by AIDEN or by a second stage video engineer. And just wanted to reiterate that AIDEN can work independently of video and is fully integrated with the Fixflo system. So you can just switch it on and it communicates seamlessly with Fixflo, and is available for out of hours and for every single day if you want to leverage it within your agency.
Great. That actually leads on amazingly well to our first question, which I think is for Dean, which is how often is attendance required on Christmas Day? So I think what we've said is having this in place is going to reduce the number of attendances, which is great news. But how often does it actually happen, Dean?
In my experience, when you look at a ratio of jobs that are reported versus attended, you'd have to be incredibly lucky to require attendance on Christmas Day. But I think that it's how valuable is an insurance policy? I think the issue is when it does happen, it tends to be very significant and genuine, and obviously it has the potential to cause damage to a property or risk to life. So it's not that common. Job reporting is common. We've seen. So I think it's important that those issues are triaged. So as Etan talked about, following the AIDEN route, the volume of those that would be avoiding the need for a call out, it reduces those numbers even further. So yeah, in my experience, it's not too common, but when it happens, it needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast. And I think this kind of brings together the fact that we can reduce those call outs whilst having the reassurance that if a physical attendance is required, it's there and available. Because as I touched on at the very beginning of the webinar, a lot of contractors will say, yeah, I do Christmas and I work the Christmas break, and that often tends not to be the case, and you're calling on people on your time of need, and it kind of doesn't necessarily work. So Novex takes steps to kind of ring fence and ensure that there's guaranteed resource in place if that call out is ever needed. So the power of that really is not to be underestimated.
Great, thanks, Dean. So the first question, I'm not 100% sure what it means. So we're saying, how do we assign the job awaiting due to TT? Etan, Dean, I'm not sure if you know what that means, or if the person who asked would like to clarify.
Tenant.
TT
Tenant.
TT is agent for tenant.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issues, if I've understood correctly, and please clarify if I haven't, the issues are automatically assigned by the Fixflo system. So you're not having to manually assign any jobs. It's the point of it. The system's recognizing what issues need to be escalated, what issues need to be triaged. Obviously, Novex will do their best to arrange an appointment within that 30-minute window. They'll contact the tenant. Dean, I don't know if you could touch on how they do that and what happens if they don't pick up the phone.
They'll keep trying. So they'll keep trying on the phone, and they'll also send messages to the tenant via comments in Fixflo, which obviously triggers emails to tenants as well. So and we also have contractors have text messaging facility in Fixflo as well that are able to send text messages as well. So yeah, multiple contact methods, and it would be ongoing. Certainly
Great.
wouldn't be left.
Brilliant. Next one with you, Dean. We're located in Glasgow. Do you have contractors local to us?
Yeah, so two-part answer. So to focus on kind of the subject of this webinar, Novex are nationwide. So yes, Novex would have contractors available in Glasgow. From AIDEN's perspective, obviously AIDEN is available globally, so we can cover the entire world
And Mars,
if he wishes.
Yeah.
If that question is more kind of focused on your normal in-hours reactive stuff, very short answer: yes, we have a team of fantastic sole traders, local regional contractors, which are available in Fixflo, including Glasgow.
Great, thank you. Etan, next one is for you. We work a lot with the Refugee Council. Would AIDEN be available in multiple languages and easy for them to use?
AIDEN speaks over 200 languages, so can react without any kind of requested changes from the residents. So if the residents start speaking in Punjabi, AIDEN will automatically start speaking in the same language. When an issue gets escalated to video, we have instant audio translation and captioning as well for accessibility for residents. So they can speak in their native language and it's automatically captioned and translated for the engineer. The engineer can reply in English and the reverse works as well. So both on the AIDEN side and on the Help Me Fix video side, there's no problems with language, including pictorial languages such as Mandarin, Cantonese, and Arabic.
I think AIDEN is showing off. Far too smart.
Cool. Next one's probably for me, although I'm not as much of a Fixflo expert as I should be. Do you still get a job report alert by email if the co-pilot's activated over Christmas? So regardless of when the co-pilot rules are activated, the email alerts will be exactly the same whether they're over the Christmas period or not. I believe you'll get your standard notification emails that issues have been reported, jobs are progressing, etc. You can also set up Fixflo to notify as well. So I think if you wanted additional notifications, I'm sure we can get that done as well. The next one's just asking for a recording of the webinar. Yes, this will be sent afterwards, so feel free to distribute it willy-nilly. Etan, with you, how often do you have reporters try to circumnavigate the AI aspect? We found sometimes that reporting residents just want to speak to a person. So is there an easy way to skip the AI element for those that don't want to use it?
Yeah, of course. So there's two ways that a resident can not escape, but circumvent having a conversation with AIDEN. So the first way, if you're just using AIDEN only and the resident wants to just get their issue resolved and not try and self-resolve or not try and kind of back and forth with AIDEN, AIDEN will just let the resident know that it will file a job report, which will then be actioned. It will then take all of the knowledge it has about the property, the repair issue, and any interaction the resident has given, as well as photos that have been uploaded in Fixflo, and then write a comprehensive report, including any parts that might be required, and then file that. And obviously, if it's an emergency, it can trigger an emergency dispatch if AIDEN feels that the issue would need an emergency dispatch. The other way that AIDEN can connect a resident with a real human being is if video triage is enabled and the resident doesn't want to engage with AI, AIDEN can escalate to video. And again, only for emergency and urgent issues, and then they can be connected with a human being anywhere in the country within 30 seconds.
Great. We've just got a few more questions, but keep them coming to everyone attending if they've got any others. The next one states, I missed the intro. Is AIDEN an AI call? So I guess that's one for you, Atan, just a brief summary. And I guess from my perspective, what's next for AIDEN as well? So, what does the roadmap look like?
Absolutely. So AIDEN is an AI repairs assistant, which is trained on around 50,000 successfully resolved video triage calls. It has a range of connected skills such as helpful videos, photo analysis, the ability to know everything about the property, including EPC information, fabric and build, and weather information at the time of reporting. It can escalate an issue to video triage. It can file job reports. It can recommend parts. Very soon, and currently in build, AIDEN will be able to find power outages and water outages in the local area of the resident, so it can access up to the second outage reports in the local area, which would save any kind of a kind of dispatch when actually it's a supply issue in the area. And we're also working on the ability to serve up things like user manuals so that if the resident can't program their heating system or their dishwasher or washing machine, AIDEN can provide the exact manual for the appliance. In beta, as I've mentioned previously, it's in beta with a number of test clients, but we're releasing next week the ability for AIDEN to recommend parts for the onward contractor, including part numbers and a link to a range of different choices so that the contractor can go without having to go and look for the parts. In the future as well, we'll be introducing voice and other features as they become available.
Cool. So I think in short, it's a chatbot for now. Could be a call in future. And we've just got some examples here as well. I don't know if you want to talk through them, Atan.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got a couple of examples here. These are in the last couple of days. So this is an issue with a tripped, basically no power to the property. AIDEN goes through Q&A with the resident, asks them to upload a picture of the sockets that aren't working, and sees that initially they're switched off just by the picture, asks the resident to switch them back on, and then asks the resident to check the main circuit breaker and test other sockets. The resident doesn't know what or where the circuit breaker is or where it is, so AIDEN advises them on how to find it. Checks for trip switches them, gets them to switch them back on, and now obviously the issue is resolved. This was a permanently resolved issue. So this is an example of photo analysis and just conversational AI. The next one is the issues reported a pressure issue in Fixflo. AIDEN takes that, doesn't even need to ask the resident what the issue is, takes the information that's been submitted in Fixflo already, asks the resident to confirm that the pressure is low, shows them how to top up the pressure, and then offers up a helpful video with the exact boiler that the resident has the problem with, which in this case is an Ideal Logic. Serves up the helpful videos, the resident watches the videos, and the issue is resolved, and AIDEN files a permanently resolved job report. And on the third one, again, this is a pressure top up, very similar thing. Goes through kind of the basics with the resident, serves up some helpful videos, and again, this issue is resolved without the need for any kind of engineer visit or video triage or anything like that. Just resolves it off the bat. We've also had this morning chirping smoke alarms where batteries are replaced. We've got leaks that are temporarily resolved, so it's extremely flexible and it works across all different trade categories. Amongst 700 issues in Fixflo, it can be linked to 700 issues.
I think I'll try it with my dishwasher later, and we can include that in the webinar follow-up as to whether I've managed to unblock my dishwasher. We've got one on a question about costs, so I'll touch on that in a minute. The next question is, how well does it work for blocking communal issues?
Yeah, so the first thing that AIDEN will do if an issue is reported, it will ask the residents to check with their neighbours to see if there's an issue anywhere else in the block or in the communal. In terms of specific block issues, again, the AI is it is very good at taking information and then taking the necessary parts that are required and filing for a dispatch. And again, it can trigger an emergency dispatch if needed.
Great. I'm conscious of time. We've just got a couple of questions left. So this one's, apologies if this has already been covered. Is a specific login for AIDEN Help Me Fix required, or can tenants access it directly through their existing Fixflo account?
So there's no login required. AIDEN is completely cloud-based. It's fully integrated in Fixflo. So once it's activated, residents can actually go straight from the reporting, have a little checker to say, we're just checking to see if this qualifies for instant help, and then they engage directly with AIDEN. There's no additional login. They don't have to leave the Fixflo system. It all happens within the reporting process.
Cool. So just onto the final question then, if you don't mind, go to the next slide. So it's saying, will you be advising the cost of the service in this webinar, or is this sent separately? So that this will be a bespoke quote for each client. It's dependent on obviously the packages that you want to go for, whether you're adding in emergency dispatch, whether you're adding in video, whether you're adding in just the AI solution, or a combination of them. If you're interested in finding out more, or having just a quote, there should be a poll coming up, I think. We're not sure if we can get this right, but there should be a poll. I can't see it. Hopefully there's a poll. Here we go. So yeah, if you'd like more information on AIDEN, on Novex, on Help Me Fix Video, or a combination of them, particularly when it comes to pricing, just click yes, please. We'll get in touch. Obviously, if you're an existing user of any of the above, feel free. We'll get in touch. We can kind of answer from a support perspective if you're having any questions about your current setup. If you're not using it and you're interested in finding out more information, please just tick yes, please, and we'll reach out later today or tomorrow to have a call with you to discuss that in more detail. I'll click no, thank you, so I don't get called by my team. Cool. Scan the code to learn more about Fixflo. Hopefully everyone on this call knows what Fixflo is, but we'll give it another couple of minutes, just if there's any last minute questions. But other than that, we'll be following up with a recording of the webinar, so please feel free to share that with your teams. Get set up for Christmas. As I say, we're really confident that we can provide a stress-free Christmas for our clients with these solutions. We've got tons of clients using aspects of these already, and we're seeing tons of clients sign up every day. So it's something we really truly believe in as a solution. It's really helping our clients and helping their tenants. So if you've got any questions, please do just get in touch, and we'd be happy to reach out. Other than that, thanks all. Cheers, Atan. Cheers, Dean.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.